All right, let's dive in. Today we're talking about the final, and honestly, one of the most critical phases of any project, the closure. Now, I know, it's the part that often gets rushed or even skipped entirely, but trust me, getting this part right is the real secret to locking in your success and setting yourself up for the next big win. So let me ask you something. You've hit the deadline, the final product is out the door, the team is probably already thinking about what's next, but is the project actually closed? See, there's a huge difference between a project that just stops and one that is formally, officially, and strategically brought to an end.
So, what even is project closure? Well, it's definitely not just about packing up your stuff and turning off the lights. Think of it more like a controlled landing after a long flight. You don't just run out of fuel and hope for the best, right? It's a formal, distinct phase of the project lifecycle.
Okay, so here's the textbook definition. Project closure is the process of finalizing, well, everything. The work is done, it's been handed over, and, this is the important part, every single piece of documentation is signed, sealed, and stored away properly. It's all about putting that definitive, official stamp on the word complete.
Now you might be thinking, wow, this sounds like a ton of paperwork. And yeah, there's some of that. But this isn't just about ticking boxes. A strong, deliberate closure is a total power move. It protects all that hard work you and your team just poured in, and it really does pave the way for future success. I mean, when you really nail the closure, you guarantee some amazing outcomes. You make sure the people who are actually going to use what you built have a smooth transition. You get that final, legally binding sign-off, which keeps clients happy and seriously cuts down on future risk. And, this one is key, you give your team a chance to actually stop, breathe, and learn from what just happened. And let's flip that for a second. Without a proper closure, you're basically just inviting chaos. You risk making the same expensive mistakes over and over again. You could launch a product and leave it totally stranded with no support, and you open yourself up to all kinds of confusion and even legal trouble. Closure is really a safety net for your project, your team, and your entire company.
But of course, we all know the real world is messy. Projects don't always end with a neat little bow. Things happen. Priorities change. And that's exactly why project management recognizes 4 different types of closure.
First up, we've got the one we all dream of, normal closure. This is the gold standard, the holy grail. You did what you said you would, you did it on time, and you stayed on budget. It's the project management equivalent of a perfect 10. This is always the goal.
And then there's the nightmare scenario. I love this quote because it just captures the feeling perfectly. The perpetual project. This is the zombie project that just will not die. It's kept alive by endless little requests and tweaks that were never part of the original plan. This is what happens when you don't set clear closure goals from day one. Then you've got 2 other really common but challenging endings. A premature closure is when a project gets the plug pulled for business reasons. A budget cut, a shift in strategy. And a failed closure is when, well, the project just didn't hit its goals. The most important thing to remember here is that neither of these is automatically the team's fault. And in both cases, you still have to go through a formal closure process to learn from what happened.
Okay, so we know the what and the why. Let's get into the how. Here's a super straightforward 8-step playbook you can use to guide you through a clean, professional project closure every single time.
So the first 4 steps are all about locking things down. Step 1, do a final check. Is every single thing done and delivered? Step 2, close the books. Make sure every vendor, every contractor has been paid. Step 3, and this is a big one, get that signature. You need formal written acceptance. And 4, write up that final report. How did you do on cost, schedule, and quality?
All right, the next 4 steps are about looking forward. Step 5, archive everything. Make it easy for people to find this stuff years from now. Step 6, and this is where the real gold is, get those lessons learned down on paper. Talk to everyone. 7, execute a flawless handoff to the team that's going to own this thing long term. And finally, step 8, officially release your team. Their work is done. Thank them for everything and set them free for their next big challenge.
And that handover in step 7? It can't just be a quick email. No way. It needs a concrete plan, a document, something just like this. A transition plan clearly lays out what needs to happen, who's responsible for it, and when it has to be done. This is the roadmap that makes sure nothing falls through the cracks when your team moves on. This brings us to probably the most valuable part of this entire process. Because really, closure isn't just an ending, it's a new beginning.
The retrospective meeting, the lessons learned, that's where you turn your recent experience into a massive advantage for the future.
See, that lessons learned step isn't just a formality, it's a goldmine. Your final evaluation meeting isn't just a wrap-up, it's a treasure hunt. You're digging for mistakes to avoid, sure, but more importantly, you're pinpointing successes that you can copy and paste into future projects. You're analyzing the budget to find clever ways to save money and looking at how you used your team to be even more efficient next time. This is how great organizations get smarter, project by project.
So, as we wrap this up, I'll leave you with this question to think about for your own work. Don't just finish a project and immediately move on. Take a moment. What is the one single lesson, big or small, that you can carry forward to guarantee your next project is an even bigger success? That, right there, is the power of a great closure.